Okay, people in the future is the part 2. We had a break. It's waiting because we don't send any response, but successfully it confirms that our console log direct.body. Now we can save this data in our database. We can say const, let's say it's a new question in our database. We want to wait for that. For saving something in the database, what do I need here? What should I write?
Model question, how it was.
The question model, and what is the method that we should use?
That's great.
Create, and create receives what you want to save. That thing that we want to save, that should be an object. We save it to the database. That object is direct.body, which is coming in the request. Great. And we will have a response, and usually the create returns what was saved into the database and added a new ID to that, which is the data that was saved. Actually is going to be returned, and we're going to send this to the front end. I'm going to say, alright, but status is definitely 201, which is created successfully, and then what we want to send is the new question that we just save it in our database. If something goes wrong, I need to catch the error. I need to prepare a nice error status. Definitely here I'm gonna blame frontend, because whatever happened here that thrown an error, it's related to the body of the request. It's related to the data that is coming from the front end. If one of them is just database is not happy with one of these things, it's gonna throw an error. So this means it's not the problem of the server, it's the problem of the front end, which I'm gonna say 400. And a message which will be error dot message. What way is the error message? We don't know. Let's test it. So we're gonna send this with this description. Both of them, I think they were required in our schema. If we check in our schema, yeah, if one of them doesn't exist, definitely error, and a category of them. So if I do this, bang, error, the response is 400, bad request. I want someone to tell me why the error happened and we didn't save it to the database by reading the error.
What is that Python inside the error?
It's the category I've chosen about my question.
Ah, okay.
But anyway, I have a typo.
We didn't add it to the enum.
Exactly. That's the point. If you check, that's why the enum exists for that. Either if you send a category, if the user sends a category, that must be one of these that in the backend is defined. Out of that, error. If you don't define any category, by default it's going to be general anyway. Yeah. So let's change it to what category we have. Let's use math. Yeah. No, it's not about math. It's about the question is about learning programming. Let's be It's, let's say, JS. All right, and it should be exactly at the same like string JS, then it should be JS. If you write here something else, like you say JavaScript, it has no meaning for the enum. Exactly how it was defined. Let's send the request again. Bang, and happy 201 created, and that's the response we receive. A title, a description, a category with the ID of that in our database. Now if I want to get all the questions that we have, array of only one questions. Let's create another one. What if I don't provide any category? Let's create a question. This time is about elephants and can elephants fly? Let's say something like that. And what if we don't define any category? What is going to happen? Do we get error or not based on our question schema? Miki says no, exactly. Because we didn't say it's required like here. It's just, if you don't provide it, database by default says it's a general question, so to say. Let's create it. Bang. Ah. Who can say what's the problem and how we can solve it? What is the error? Anyone?
Description was stream by default.
It has nothing to do with description. Read the error. It's error. Question validation failed. Category general is not a valid enum value for the path category. It's actually the same error we had for the Python.
So it's asking us to have a value for the category.
Exactly.
And a value for the category. Yeah.
Yes, because by default we say we want to be general. Yeah, if it's not provided database, use general. But be sure that enum always needs, even if you have a default one, it should be inside, it should be listed there. Because general, it's not listed there, and database tries to save this as a general and say, but enum says there is no general inside. Yeah. So if you want a default value, you have to also have that inside of your enum. Otherwise, even it doesn't let you to have a default. Now you can use one of them as a default. It could be JS, it could be science, it could be whatever. But usually it's a general thing. Now everything should be fine. Let's test it. I'm not going to provide any category. If it's not provided, it's going to use a default one, and the default one is general. Bang, bang. Make sense? All right, let's get all of our questions. Now I have 2 questions in my database. One is learning programming, which is the category JS. Another one is just general. And yeah, so we know that if you don't provide now any category, it's fine. We didn't say required. Database automatically adds as a default value what we said in our schema. But if you provide a category, then you have to stick to the rules. And the category should be inside of that enum. Let's ask another question. This time we have also sport, I think. Yeah. So the category, let's say sport, the title, UFO champion. Who won, Spain or Portugal on Saturday? All right, such question. Let's bang, everything is fine. The category is sport we have in our enum, everything is there. And what if you don't provide a title or description? Let's say a request is coming like that. Yeah, because our schema, we said that's required, then definitely there should be this, an error for the database. So if I try to save this thing, error, question validation failed, title is required. So everything is working as we want. Let's see the list of our questions. Yeah, we have 3 questions in our database. We can work around with it. All right, so far everything is clear. We had just as a review and we don't have still the new thing. Now we want to update. And sometimes you have, not sometimes, in your application you want to update a resource. Let's say you want to update a user or you want to update a question. You've seen in Instagram or everywhere, when you put a comment and then after that you have a typo or something, you want to just edit that. And that edit button behind the scene, what happens? It makes a like put request or patch request or say update request to the server of Instagram and says, okay, this thing is edited, change it. That's exactly what is happening behind the scene. And we need an endpoint for that. Question router. So I want an endpoint that is responsible for updating a question. Updating a specific question. So the request is, so you can use put or patch. I'm going to tell you the differences. There is not that much of difference. All right. I'm going to do it with patch, which is the most common one. And we will do it with put also, that you see, but there is no difference, just a little difference that I'm going to tell you what is the difference between them, okay? So we can put, you can use put method or patch method, doesn't matter. That's a patch. Patch. Why doesn't it work? Patch. I hope it's spelled correctly. So when a request is coming, which is the method patch to / localhost, should be localhost 777 /API /questions, then it comes to this endpoint dot patch. This is for updating patch, and it's a bit trickier, like updating always, because it has more parameters actually. Like you have to think about, yeah, a bit more information, so to say. Let me put you here that I can see you. All right. The patch is like other endpoints. We around so an endpoint, a slash API, a slash questions, which is here, the root. I'm written here a specific question. What does it tell you? We want to update a specific question. How do you define a specific question?
By ID, for example.
Yes, exactly. So this means you expect an ID in the request that is coming, which means this. Because if you don't have the ID of that question, which one you want to update? Your backend needs who is this guy or the username, which user you want to update. So always the patch or puth, it's just all about a specific user, a specific product, a specific pet, a specific, I don't know, question, a specific comment. So you expect an ID of that question. And then a function, which is a controller, so to say, rec, res, next to handle that. All right, try, catch. We want to try to update something, but first thing first, I want you to tell me when the request is coming, definitely there is an ID in the link. So API questions slash da 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 da. How can I access that ID? Const ID equals to, how can I access that?
rec.params.id.
Yes, fantastic. Rec.params. So in the request, when you say rec, it means in the request that is coming, there is a params, which stands for parameters, so to say. There is an ID inside. Or I can destructure it in this way, then it's shorter. Because rec.params is an object with an ID inside. I take the ID out of it. All right. Let's test it. I'm gonna console log the ID to see if we really receive that. Let's make the request. This is another endpoint. Separated. That's a patch. That's a patch method to the same like URL. Oops. To HTTP localhost 770 API slash questions, but we need to specify an ID. All right, I'm gonna make this request now. We didn't complete it yet, but just a request that to see if we really get the ID. Bang, you can see we have the console log. Successfully we received that. It was a patch method to slash API slash questions with this ID. And it's waiting because we still just don't do anything here. All right. Okay, we expect an ID coming. We have it in our hand, which means it's inside of rec.params. We take that ID and we need to go to the database and say, update this. So I'm going to say const updated question. I'm gonna name it something like that. Or it's about updating a question. So await. Like always, we need our model. Question model dot. All right. There are a bunch of functions for updating and so on. I would like to use there's a find by ID. Okay, find by ID is just gonna find it. Yeah, you can have an endpoint to find a specific data by ID. There's a find by ID and delete, and there is a find by ID and update. This one. This is a good one to go. So when I do this, there is a bunch of information about this. Find by ID and update expect you a couple of arguments or parameters. The first thing that you provide, it should be an ID. That's an object ID from the database. Okay. The next thing is updating parts, like whatever you want to update. Let's say if you want to update the title, so it should come in the request or anything. So the updating parts goes to the next argument, and it's telling you, it could be, it's reading your schema, it could be anything, a title, description, category, whatever. And there is another, I think, argument, which is options. So ID update. So I think 3 arguments it takes. It's not showing it here, but anyway, the first one will be expecting you an ID object. So here, the first thing we need the ID. The ID is coming in the params, so I'm gonna provide the ID to that. All right, this is the first argument. The next thing was updated parts. We don't have still that updated parts in the request, but can you guess the updated parts? Let's say you want to change a title of something or whatever. From where it's coming in the request, where could be located these updating parts that is coming in the request? Again, a request has consists of 3 parts: a method, a header, which is some information inside, and a body, which is some information inside. Exactly, Shinedo and Mazam. It could be inside of the body. Fantastic. So here also it could be inside of the body, which means here we can say rec.body. Whatever is inside of the body, we expect it's a new edited whatever it is, and then that's it. Yeah. And let's do some before. Yeah, let's send some response. Rest.status. So updating, I don't know the status code for that, but let's say it's 200 and sending. We're gonna send the updated question, whatever is the response, this variable. And if any error happens, I'm going to use next, prepare the error, which means status of. So an update is coming, something goes wrong, I blame frontend because it depends on highly in the frontend. It could be they gave me a wrong ID, because you can see that this is a very wrong ID. That doesn't even exist. It's not even an object ID. It's just I typed that. That could be an error. Request.body, it could be an error, some malformed information coming in the body. So it's highly really blaming the front end, I can say. And then the message will be error, but message, whatever it is. And we want to send actually this variable. A request is coming. We take the ID from with the params. Who is this question to be updated? Also, the rec.body has the new information coming. Let's also console log the body. Body, it's rec.body. That you can see in the console log also how it looks. And then this, we provide that we say find by ID this question and replace the new data there. And that's it. And give us a response, we send the response. Let's test it. All right, this is the idea of a question that I want to update. Like always, you're sending some data. Yeah, you're sending again some data in the body of the request. Whenever you send some data, again, you have to define the content type, the same like post. So this thing that we're going to send, again, the content type is application JSON. That's the headers. And then here, the body of the request. Let's say we want to change the title of this question. Let's say I have such a question. I don't have it. It's just garbage ID, but let's have it. Let's just, I want to change the title of this question. Then I'm going to say the title. I want to change it to, that's the thing that I want to change. And I don't care about this and that. I don't provide any other stuff. That's exactly the difference between patch and put. If you use put as a method, like as a endpoint or method instead of patch, you have to provide all the object. No matter you are just changing the title, you have to provide the description again, you have to provide the category again. So the put method expects you the full object. If you don't provide the full object in the database, if it's going to be updated, it looks like this. Let's say the title you provided nicely, this is in the database. If you don't provide this to description, you don't want to change it, doesn't matter, but it should be provided in the object. If you don't provide that, then it will look like this. Yeah, this is what happens if you use, instead of patch, put, and your endpoint is put, and you try to just change the title of a question. What happens in the database is change the title, but the rest of it that you didn't provide is just gonna make them to null. That's why it's not highly used, the put. Most of the time you see it's so common that they use patch because it's easier for us that we want to send only the parts that we want to update. Maybe it's 2 parts, title and description. We don't have to send a lot of them, like all of them. Yeah, that's the only difference between put and patch. So let's make the request anyway. Bang! Sending the request is definitely giving me an error, but I can see that the request went to page. It's a patch to this endpoint. We have the body of the request. The title is this one, fantastic. But we tried to update this question, this garbage ID. And then it says, the database says, I'm trying to convert. Casting means converting. Object ID, which is this one. But you know what? This thing doesn't look like object ID. I failed actually to convert it to an object ID to see who is this person. Then error. So let's then use a real ID. I need to get all of my questions, and let's update elephants. I want to change both title and description, let's say, yeah. So this is the idea of the actually elephant that I need to provide. This is the idea of this document. Making a patch request. I need to change the title to, let's say, birds. I don't know. And then let's just keep it simple. So I just change the birds, or let's say change it to animals. Yeah, something like that. The title is animals. The description, I keep it as it is. Can an elephant fly? Category general. So the only thing that we request is just change the title, please, from the elephants to animal. Let's test it and let's see what we receive. I'm gonna make the request. Bang. Fantastic. It's 200 OK. It means it was successful. The finding and updating. And I received this back. What is wrong with this? I updated the title to animals, but look at the response we received back. It seems it was successfully updated, but what we received back is a bit strange. Anyone?
Because we have the ID of the elephants and not animals, but I'm not getting why we receive this one.
The ID never changes. The ID always is the same. Yeah. The only thing that we change about this specific ID of document, we change the title. But what we've received, the title looks like it didn't change. You can see it's elephant still. The response is, I've changed it, it's 200, but it's not changed. Okay?
So it means we're not really like fetching the updated data.
Fantastic. It means if I try to get again all the questions that I have,
Then you're gonna see it.
and then you can see it has changed. It's not good. You know why? Because, let me draw this for you, okay? It's good to go to details about these things, because when you have a website, you need to think about all of this. This is your front end. Sorry, I'm not good in drawing, but I do it a lot, but hopefully it's understandable. You have a front end. This front end, let's say your browser, your React application, user tries to update their question. So it updated the title, makes the request to your backend. Bang, to that endpoint which is responsible for updating. And inside of the header, there is a bunch of information, application JSON. Inside of the body, we have the new title that was changed. Fantastic. This goes there to your backend. Your backend reads the request and says, okay, let me find, also there is an ID inside of the link. Then let me find this question. Let me update it in database. And database updates that. Fantastic. But gives back the previous, the old data. Okay, you saw that. It gives us the old data and we send it the old data as a response. Here your front end receives again the old data, because if you receive the old data again, you put the old data there as a message edited. It's like the user interface is like, I edited that. Why again I get the same title? And what they do behind the scene, they have to refresh the page. Refreshing the page then updates the message. We don't want that the user refresh the page to get what they updated. It should be instant. Yeah, that's happening behind the scene. Then that's the problem, that database returns the old data when they update it. We want to say that database, hey, when you update that, please give me the updated instantly. I don't want to again make a GET request or refresh the page to get the updated one. I know you updated that, so please give me the updated one. So the database, then we need to tell it that it gives us the updated one, and then we send straight ahead the updated one with the new title. Does that make sense what I'm telling? Yeah, great. So then that's a problem. We want to solve that, and it's easy actually to solve this. Here, the first and the second argument, which is the new part, you can have the third part, which is usually options, and also it's most of the time object as an object. You can tell here there is a new keyword which you say true. Ah, Okile knows that. You already got that. This is exactly what it's telling to your database. It's telling, hey, give me the new one. Okay? If you update that, give me the new one. Don't give me the old one. That's the thing. Let's test it now. It should work. Let me first do this Alt Z that it doesn't go there. Alt Z to break down everything that you see better. Okay, this is the thing. Let's make the request. I want to update. Let's update this time. I don't want to update this because I like it because Portugal just has one. Let's just update this one. Let's update completely everything. Or no, let's update just the description. All right, or whatever you want to update. So I need the ID of that first, because we need to know which one to be updated. Replace the ID. And let's change it to ChatGPT, and description is it good to learn JavaScript with GPT? I don't know, something like that. We updated two things. Yeah, the user asked this question, said, oh no, I don't want to ask this question. I want to change completely the title of that and then the description of that. And the ID of that. Making the request now, this time, we should receive now the new data if it's updated, not the old data. Bang. And you can see 200 okay, updated, and now we straight ahead get the new data. It was not the old data now. It's because of that new keyword. Fantastic. This goes to your front end and everything is fine. If you get all the questions, also again, you can see ChatGPT is there now, it's updated. The ID never changes, the ID is the same. Yeah, but we just updated that. And this one and this one, so everything is there. So far, does that make sense? Okay, I want to show you something else, and it's so important. I want to update, let's update this one. Now, the UFA champions. I want to change the title to, I want to change only the category. I don't want to touch anything for that. Okay. So category. So I want to use the category What will happen if I make the request? Don't test it on your side, just guess. Anyone?
It will throw error
Why?
again because we didn't add football to the enum.
Fantastic, good catch. You can see that our enum only has these things. We don't have football there. And someone tricky trying to update their question, they want to change it to like something like football or whatever. Let's test it if we get an error. And we should actually send a request, and unfortunately you see that 200 OK, the category is football, and you don't get any error, and it even updated that, unfortunately. And if I even get all the messages, you can see it's updated to football. That's a bug. That's a very serious bug and dangerous. So you know what's the problem now? Is it clear?
You mean it should throw error, but it's not?
Yeah, it should throw error because we don't have such a category. We didn't say, so the enum actually is for that. We don't have football here. Definitely we must get error. And that's a bug. It didn't throw us an error and just saved it there. It's bad. Because imagine if they inject some code there and your database say you want to update it, okay, let me update it, whatever you gave me. That's bad. You have to tell your database like, hey, if any update comes, I know you're checking for the new stuff. If the new question is coming, you really do a good job. If something is wrong, you throw error. But for the updating, your database is like, I don't care. I trust you. What you give me, I'm going to save it. You have to tell, hey, database, whatever it comes, don't trust. You have to check it again. You have to check if the title is like string or whatever they are sending to you. If the title is not empty, or if they're choosing a category, make sure the category is inside of the enum. Because by default, if it's updating, it doesn't check that. It's just say, I trust you, okay, give me, I'm gonna just replace whatever you gave me. And this is another thing that you have to tell. You have to tell run, there is another thing, run validation. Come on, give me the run validators or something like that. Yeah, run validators, this one, true. What does that mean? This is gonna validate the new data that is coming before just replacing and updating with your schema. Now your schema will be again engaged in this thing. It's gonna check, okay, you gave me a schema, title should be string required, description script required, enum should be in this list. Okay, I'm gonna check that. Now it's gonna check that. If everything is fine, it's gonna update it. If something is wrong, like here the category football, then it's gonna throw error. All right, let's test it. I'm gonna do the same for, so let's get some stuff. So I'm gonna update the category of this one. So this is the ID. I'm gonna update the category of the animal, and I'm gonna say it's food. I don't know. We know that we don't have food in our enum. You can check that. We don't have such thing. Then now it should work. Now it should, that run validator true, the database is gonna check everything based on the schema before updating anything. So sending the request, and now we can see bad request. Validation failed. Category food is not a valid enum value for the path category. Now everything is fine. Is set up, so to say. Make sense? All right. That is your update. And that's always like this one. You're updating with patch, let's say, you expect an ID coming from the params, you expect new data that you want to replace it with the previous data in the body of the request. You have a method find by ID and delete. It receives 3 arguments. The first one, who want to be updated. The next one, what to be replaced. And the third one is some options that you're telling, check the schema, give me the new updated one. I have some notes that can help you. It gives you the new object with all updated parts or part. Run validator is for checking rect.body if it matches your schema. All right. Good. Let's do it with put if you want. I want to see how it works with put. With put is just the same. I just want to copy this whole thing. So updating a question, a specific question, if a request coming, which method is put to localhost /777/API/questions/NID. It's the same. The only thing that is different, I just copy and paste it, is changing the patch to put. Now it's a different method. We expect an ID coming. We expect a body of the request is coming. we're gonna find it by ID, replace whatever it is, run validator, new, and so on response. And that's it. And that's just only the difference. But the difference is that the body of the request should contain everything, the updated parts and the unchanged parts. All right, so let's do that. I'm gonna make a request to so it's a put request. So slash questions and with an ID, and we want to, let's update something that we have. Let's say, let's update this one, the champion. So I'm gonna give the ID here. I'm gonna change the title. And I'm going to change the title from UFO champion to World Cup. Let's say I just want to change only the title. With the patch, it was like you're going to provide whatever you want to change, but with the put, you have to provide everything. And if you don't want to even change it, so I'm going to provide the description without any change, and I have to provide the category even without any change. All right. Now I'm curious now if the validator now checks football and it's gonna throw error or not, because it's a bug now in our database. It already saved it there, and we don't have such an enum category. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's test it. But the only thing that is different between the put and the patch is that, again, repeat, patch, you're gonna just provide the parts that you wanna update. The put doesn't matter which part you wanna update. Let's say if it's a title, it's okay, but you have to put also everything, the unchanged part, also the same there. Let's test it. Yeah, validation failed. Football is not a valid enum. Now it's checking that. Let's change it to sport. Great. Bang. Fantastic. Everything changed. Like World Cup change only, and then the description is the same, and the category also changed to sport. If we get all of our data, you can see it has been changed. That's all. And I use always patch because it's most common one. It's easier. We just need to send whatever we want to update, not the whole data. Is that clear? Do you have any other question? Yes, Okile.
This is clear. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
How about if we try like a soft delete, like you said before?
Yeah.
Possible to do it here.
Fantastic. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, good that you remind me. Yeah, about soft delete. Let's just create a delete endpoint that it really deletes it. Yeah, it's a hard delete. Let's create an endpoint like that first to see. Inside of our question router, we have a put, we have a patch, we have get. Let's say we did already delete with the user thing. There is a delete method is coming to /API/questions and with an ID, because we expect to delete a specific question. So we need the ID of that question. Async rec res next. If it's about really deleting, then you have to say const delete one. Oops. Const delete one or delete question equals. We're gonna use our question model. I want to be fast in this part because it's not about soft delete, it's just to have a hard delete that we had it. Delete one. So it's deleting one, and then we're gonna provide the ID. The ID is coming from where? The ID coming from rec dot params, like the params dot ID. I think it should be like a filtration, like we have to provide it as an object, because this thing it's an a string. I think it doesn't work like that. I think we have to do it in this way. ID, yeah. So we want to delete a question that has this ID coming from rec.params.id. When it's deleted, res.send res.status 200 or 204 no content, but anyway, let's say let's have a message or a response. Message successfully deleted. All right, let's keep it simple. You have to use try and catch, you have to use if it's not deleted, you have to check for that and so on, but let's keep it for now simple. Let's make the request to delete a question. So when there is a delete coming to HTTP that and that and that with we want to delete that. Yeah, that's it. There is no header, there's nothing, it's just an idea of something to delete. Let me get a request to delete one of them. Let's delete this one, animals, elephant. Delete. Bang, message deleted successfully. Fantastic. Let's check if it's deleted. Bang, it's gone. It's the hard delete. You don't have it anymore in your database. Imagine that is a user and so on. It's just gone forever. All right. And the concept of soft delete, especially for the users, because you want to have really, you keep your users there or whatever. Let's with the questions. You want to maybe have your questions also. Then the concept is that you want to just have it in your database. You don't want to delete it, but you want to control it with your schema. Yeah. So here you can have another parameter as we had it today, and it depends how you want to have it, as a date or as a just false and boolean. If you want to have it as a date, then it's important for you like when was deleted. Like we want to check those questions that they are deleted for 1 month already, then you want to clean your database after 1 month. Is it a good way? Or let's just do it with true and false. It's just the same. Let's say you have a parameter here, you named it deleted. Okay. This is actually the type is boolean because false and true. And by default, all of the questions are not deleted. Yeah, we consider them that they're not deleted, which means false by default. This is going to be added automatically to your every question. Now let me get all the questions. I think it's automatically added even to the previous ones. I don't know. Maybe to the previous ones, no. Not the users, but questions. Let's make the request to get all of them to see. It's not added to that. Oh, it's added. Look at that. See? Deleted, deleted. All right. This is just, it's gonna add it to your documents that you have. And by default, you can have it as a false. We had it as a false, yeah? Default false, where is it? Did I write it, default false? Yeah, default false. And you can see that. Even if I create a new question now, let's create a new question. Let's say, something. I really am out of imaginations, and it should be, let's say, about science. How big is Earth? Something like that. And it's about science category. Science. Hope I don't have typo, otherwise error. So let's send the request. Okay, successfully saved in my database. If I get all of the data that I have, you can see all of them has deleted false, and also the science. Now, let's say there is a deleted request is coming to delete a question, and you don't want to really remove it from your database. You just want to tag it as deleted. Yeah, we want to find that one and just update this part to true. All right, let's do that. So somewhere in our code, I'm gonna, you can use the same one, okay, but you have to have a different, because you want this one to hard delete that, let's say, just a hard delete from your database. If you want to have that, you can keep it. Another one, you can have it as a soft delete. Also the same endpoint. Let's say we have a delete coming, a delete method, and then here you have to be specific, because you don't want it to be exactly the request to come here, okay? Because if the request is coming to /API/questions with an ID, it goes always there. You have to be a little bit specific, because both methods are the same. And if you want soft delete, you can define it here. Actually, you can say API. You have the API actually /questions/ if you use this, then it never comes here, because it's the same. And because order matters, the request always goes there and never comes here. Because if it goes there, then it's going to delete it permanently. But if you want to do soft delete, then maybe you want to like bring the request to come here somehow. You need a specific actually route. You can say, you can add something else here. Soft delete or temporary delete, temp, yeah, just name it temp, yeah, temp/ID. Then if you want to really not to delete the question, hard delete, then you have to make the request to come to this endpoint. That's a delete method to /API/questions/temp with an ID. Then it comes here. Then we can say async rec res next. So here we want to update it actually, correct? Because it's just updating the document. And we can, why I have this complaining? Oh, I think. We can do it in different ways. You can find by ID and update in this way. Or let's do it because this is just a straight ahead going to this part. We know it that we want to update this part. We can first find it, change it, and save it back. Something like this. You did it yesterday, the last time with Shinhee, this method. Let's find this document in our database first, which means find the question, something like that. Let's find this question. If I want to find it, I'm going to say await question model, and I want to find a question that has the ID of what is coming in the request. Rec dot params dot ID. Oops, what is that? Params. Let's just console log if we find it anyway. I'm not sending any requests, I'm not doing anything, okay? Just let's console logging. Why is it complaining here? Oh, it's not. Console logging, find the question. All right. Still it's not complete, just I would like to see that you console log. There is a request that is coming here and we find that and we console log that. Let's see. Let's make the request. Another request, another endpoint completely. Whoop. That's, we know it's a delete method. It's a delete method, but not to this endpoint exactly. It should be /API, /questions, /temp, and then the ID. /questions, /temp. Oops. All right. Sorry, I think I was a bit fast, but yeah, that's just the endpoint. So there is a delete and delete. So we have two deletes. How the request decides not to go there, but go there because we defined if the link is like that, then it comes here. And we see that the link is temp and then the ID. So it never goes to the first delete, it goes to there. Let's make the request. Fantastic. You see that it's waiting forever. It's because we don't send any request, but we console log it. We were successfully, we could find it in our database. Something is strange about this. Which one is it? Because it has just only a category and deleted, and we don't have it here. Which ID is it? ID D4. ID D4. Oh, interestingly, we don't have this. And from where it's coming? Let me check the... It's so funny. I don't have this. And where is it? I don't have this ID in my database. And what it does, the request comes here, it goes to the database to find that question. Ah, yeah, what's wrong? It doesn't find it. It's just this line is returning something strange. What have I done here? What do I need to do here? It's not complete.
I think you have to, maybe the deleted should be true as well, right?
No. It has nothing to do with that. Look at the model and then...
Const ID equals to...
Yeah,
params?
I can do that, but I use it straight ahead here anyway.
Okay.
But look, what is the difference here? When you use a model, oh,
it's still fine an update.
Yeah, I didn't use any method.
Yeah.
And strangely, it didn't give me error. I don't know what is that actually. The method is like .find by ID, yeah? Yeah, this one. Oops, not deleting, but finding. You see? Come on, give me find by. Yeah, this find by ID is expecting us to provide an ID to find it. I think you can also give it without object, but anyway, like this way. Now it should find it in my database if I have it or not. So D4, I don't have it. Now it should give me just null or I don't know, undefined. Yeah, null. I don't have this. Let's find this one, which is something. How big is it there? Send a request. Bang. Fantastic. We found that in our database. The only thing that we need to do is, that's an object. I take the object that we found it, I change the delete from false to true, and I save it back to the database. That's the thing that I want to do. This means here I have it in my hand, this object. So I can say, this one that you find. Anyway, be careful with if you don't find. Yeah, because we didn't find it, it was null. All right, let's we come to that. Let's one by one. This find the question, this variable, which is this. If we find it, there is inside sorry, there is inside a delete variable, because that's an object. I want to change it to true. This will change it to true, and when I change that, I want to save it back to the database, which means I'm going to say now save it back. And it's not delete, it's deleted, the variable here, deleted, yeah, deleted. And then I'm going to say dot save. So here we find it, we change the deleted part from false to true, we save it back to the database. This save, you can see it's a promise. And because it's a promise, we need to use await. All right? Everyone agree with that? Great. Now, when we save it back, then we want to send a response. Let's send, we can say, let's send exactly what we just updated. Let's say status updated. I think updating is 200, I don't know, but it's successful. 200.send find the question. We're gonna send this one that we just found and updated. We didn't delete it from our database. We just changed the deleted from false to true. Now let's see how it works. I'm gonna make the request again. The same thing, something. Bang. Fantastic. The response 200 okay, deleted true. All right. Let's get all our database, all our questions, and you can see everything is false, false. The only thing that is supposed to be deleted as a soft delete for now is this one. Okay, now you actually mark this as deleted. This means you don't want to show it in the front end, or you don't want to show it, you don't want to fetch it actually from your database. And when you make a GET request like this, you want to say, hey, give me all of those questions that they are not deleted, or so to say, deleted false. If they are deleted, I don't want them. Just don't give it to me. This is how the query or filtration then works. Yeah. For example, here, when you make a request to get all of them, you can define now a little tiny filtration here inside. You can say, hey, give me all of the questions, but I don't want them, those that the deleted is true. You can do it like this, the filtration. I want only those that deleted are false. You want only these things. Those that they are true, I don't want it. Yeah? So that would work like this. Then if I make the request, then I shouldn't receive this one anymore. Oh, it didn't give me anything. Do I have a typo? Yeah. It should be exactly the property. Look at that. It's deleted. Yeah. So if I do this, let's make the request. So I'm going to say, give me all the questions, but I've defined only those that is false. Why it doesn't work? Do I have a typo again? Deleted false. Deleted false. That should work. Does it work on your side or no? The same. So if you don't have any filtration, it gives me everything. All right, false, false, true. Deleted false. So if I make the request, oh, come on, why it doesn't work? You know what?
I think it's deleted is rather kind of restores it. If you say it's deleted false, maybe if it's deleted true, maybe it could be able to kind of give you everything that you need.
No, the true should give me only the truths. Yeah, the true, it gives me only the truths. It's strange that why it doesn't give me the false ones, because I don't want them. Because I don't want this one. It was a good thing. I don't want this one because it's deleted. I don't want to get it. I just want those that the deleted is false. But why the false doesn't work? And you said it's reserved. It could be. Let me, you know what? I'm gonna ask Copilot for that. Before, like ChatGPT and so on, we had to search in Google. Let me ask this. Hey, why deleted false in query find doesn't work? It gives me empty array, but deleted true works. Let's see. This is likely that your document don't have the field explicitly set false if the field is missing or stored as a example, a string, a query. Boom, match. No, it is like that. Ah, okay. That could be the corruption of database. Do you remember what we were talking about that? because we're testing things, changing the, because we added this later. And that could be because of that. I would like to remove all the documents that we have. I don't have a delete endpoint for deleting everything to start from scratch. Then I'm going to delete from the one by one. Okay, let me get first everything. I think that's because of the corruption we had at the beginning. So let me just get rid of this to get everything. All right, so one by one I want to delete them. Delete this one, so deleting it hard. Okay, successfully deleted. And then the next one. Successfully deleted. And then the next one is fine because we created that after. But anyway, let's delete also this one. We'll go soon to break. Let's test this. So I have no user. Oh, I have. So delete this one also. Bang. Okay, delete. I should have no user in my database now. I'm gonna create one. This is the one. Something. And then let's say animals. How dogs know their owners? And it's about, let's say, general. Yeah. One more thing. Math complex. What is 1 plus 1? And then the category, I think we have math in our enum. Same. All right, now we have 3 questions. They're not deleted, like soft delete. I want to delete, let's say, the math. Yeah, this one. As a soft delete, not permanently. This is gonna get rid of permanently, but this is temporary or soft delete. Put it here, change it, delete from true. Fantastic. Now we have something like that. We have true as a false and true as a deleted. So the front end wants to get all of the questions to show it, to make the request to get all the questions. But the front end doesn't want those that they were deleted. Doesn't matter deleted permanently or deleted as a soft delete. We don't want that because the user just wanted to delete that. That's the query that we were using here. Now it should work. I'm going to bring it back to deleted false. Now this means find all of the questions that this part are false. This means they're not deleted. Let's make the request. That should work. Give me bang. And it working. The database was corrupted actually. That was why. And now we can see we receive only the questions that they are not deleted. Those that they deleted true, we don't want that. But still you have it in your database. All right? That's how it works actually. Is it clear, Okila? Or anyone?
Yeah, that's quite clear. But I think in our schema, can we have a look at the schema again?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. You're still having false here. Okay, that's okay. That's clear.
It's by default. Always is false.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's it. Sorry, 10 minutes, 11 minutes and more. Let's be back in 1 hour. I'm going to prepare exercise for this stuff and then give it to you. So, yeah, have a good lunch time. See you in 1 hour. Let's be back exactly at 11. Yes. Okay.